Shall you get now? They needed something that will give them, these fanatics, so something that will give them the chance to go after people. You hear? Like, they can just say, you can't eat when we are fasting. During Ramadan, we don't want anybody to be eating. Okay? Or go after anybody and say, oh, in the name of blasphemy, oh, you have blasphemed against our prophet, so we are going to beat you to death. These fanatics are just looking for something, a tool to use in, to use in suppressing and subjugating others. That's what they need. That's why they are shouting this Sharia, that we will beat you, we will do this. Nibo, nila Yoruba, try it. They wanted to create this religious division. But you know something? I'm not talking about other places. So I told you before, I said, I never heard about Takia. You see, where some fanatic Muslims, right? They'll be using deceit and lies, okay, to hoodwink the people, befriend you, tell you that, oh, it's not a big problem, is then until they are in the majority. Once they are in the majority, they will now knock you apako. I didn't know about that until I grew up. Because why? The society where they raised me, fanaticism no day. There is nothing called fanaticism. Go and do whatever you want to do. Nobody is touching anybody. You understand? Everybody is coexisting, doing their things in the same household. Though. People who are going to mosque are going to mosque. Those who are going to church are going to church. Husband be Muslim, make the wife be prophetess. So until I grew up, I never knew that people are pretty much like extreme about religion. Honestly speaking, I didn't know that. I didn't grow up like that. I'm not an old man. No. I'm just a young person, very young. Oh. But today now, you will be seeing people on social media telling you about it. And that's what they do. Takia, this and that. Well, I'm not saying there is none, no, but not in Yoruba land where I grew up. And listen, we used to have those we call the tabligh. Yeah? The tabligh are those ones with the strange type of Islam. These are the least. And even the tablighs themselves, right? They never tried anything to try to dominate anybody or what have you. But we learn every day. So we might cook, continue cooking. According to that man, it's like you are cursing the people, telling you that they don't want Sharia. You are cursing them. Who you be? You this unfortunate soul. How dare you come around and be cursing people and threatening people? He's a Muslim. I mean, they should allow us to begin to go after these guys. Oh. Like not until we begin to go after them one by one and begin to kind of deal with them, they won't stop this nonsense they are trying in Yoruba land. Oh. That's the Muslim saying that. That in fact, Nigeria should break up. Honestly speaking, Nigeria should break up so that we can actually face ourselves. We can, we are speaking the same language, the same Yoruba. Shall you get now? So nobody can hide under the Nigerian law, which talks about Sharia, this Sharia, that. Oh. So nobody can hide under it. We can face ourselves one-on-one in Yoruba land. And I agree. I do. All these nuisance, they are hiding behind this fake Nigeria because they can get all of their support from their Sharia north. The fanatics. He actually asked, he said, you want to force, what are you saying? Like you want to force Sharia in Yoruba land? You mad? Like you mad, How far with those people practicing it in northern Nigeria? How many of their elites, how many of their politicians have been arrested and punished by Sharia? So you now come on social media, you are cursing people. That's what that man was saying. You are cursing people who said no. And this country needs to break up. We need to break up this country so that we can face ourselves. We can sort it out within ourselves. So there will be no reason to be like, pointing fingers or saying so people, they incite so people. No incitement. So if Nigeria break up, if they burn your papa well, okay? Or you begin to push for this, your useless Sharia that you want. Come and push it. So that we can settle it one-on-one and say, okay, oh, if now una be majority, oh, if now us be majority, oh, mo kuku settle am. So that Nigeria no go be your excuse for it. You understand me now? Because Yoruba land is the place where religious tolerance and all that is the most pronounced in Nigeria today. We've never had anything called religious crisis, ever. And similarly, even the Eastern Nigeria that are pretty much like, they do not want anything to do with this Islam, that. Oh. Yet you still have mosques, central mosques this, central mosques that. The Muslim communities in eastern part of Nigeria, they've never had any religious crisis. Or those who are putting us in this fear of phobia of this their extreme Islam, they are these northerners. Not a good example at all. So if anybody is within Yoruba land and they feel, I don't even understand, like, do you feel marginalized as a Muslim? That you need your own separate law? That you want to set up your own separate courts? Where, go try on. So we'll keep raising the awareness, helping the people to understand that, you see, these guys are not even speaking for the Muslims themselves. They just want something that will give them leverage and control so that they can begin to, arrest people and beat people up in the name of their Sharia. It's not about, they will tell you, oh, it's not for Muslims, it's not for non-Muslims. So Sharia is for our Sharia. Now they're mad. Maybe so they're talking for Zamfara. Is that not the same thing they said in Kaduna, Kano, Sokoto? And then go and read about it, where people, non-Muslims, have been arrested for eating during Ramadan. Imagine you being, somebody arrests you that you are eating because other people are fasting. But if you know if you control your, what have you, what's it concern me with your fast or fasting? What's my business with you fasting? That I have to, I must not eat in public. Like, because I'm fast, because of your religion, then I can't, you demand in it. But there are people justifying that. We know, nobody say we don't know, say extremists today, Yoruba land too. But their extremism now inside their house, if you be Muslim, if you be Islamic extremist, extremist, we will tell ourselves the truth. So the extremism, if not, that's the truth. And we are going to continue to enlighten the public. You will not have dominance over people using religion in Yoruba land. You see, you won't. It's going to be a difficult one. But you can enjoy your whatever, like your echo chamber. You can enjoy. And I'm so happy. This is not even like Christians rejecting it and what have you now. Even Muslims are at the forefront. Like, we know what you are. We know your intention. If you don't go collect money from these people to come and push this nonsense in Yoruba land, you better return their money. It's not going to work. There's nothing called religious crisis. It's not going to happen in Yoruba land. Now you go, we go deal with one by one. So that is that. This is not good. Where some people also got kidnapped just about 3 days ago. Saw this video in the East.
This is our Reverend Imafidon. They just passed me a few minutes ago at Buluku, only to reach Obio. They ran into herdsmen, Fulani herdsmen. They carried him, carried a lot of, even his bag. They break his head. Look at him. Look at my pastor that just passed me now. Look at, they gave him sand to eat, but God save him. Look at his cloth. They tear his cloth, new cloth that he wear. I greeted him a few minutes ago. The cloth, the bag containing the money he has, both handset, everything. They have carried it. So look at the sign now. Look at now. Fulani herdsmen just carried him and this woman. Look at the other woman. They have 3 persons. Look at them here. So this is Obio by Ezechime. By Ezechime secondary school here. That is this.
I'm from church.
So he's just coming back from Ogwashuku church, going back to Abo. So that is it. This is
Fulani terrorists who are terrorizing us in the south. They are still pretty much active. We are on our own. And it's only once in a while that you get to see videos like that to give you a reminder that the terrorists are still very much active, taking advantage of the weak security or system in the southern part of Nigeria. They go on and look at the pockets, the pocket areas where they believe that they could carry out these sinister attacks. And then they are victims. Many of them don't really live to tell the story. Those ones are lucky, they will say, this is our reality. And those are the ones who could make video to show you. Guess, where you see one video, Baba, there are 100 others that were not recorded for you to see. And they were successful kidnappings by the Fulani terrorists in Yoruba land, in Igbo land, in Ijo land, Yoruba land, and all these lands across the south. But if you dare try to question the militarization of the eastern part of Nigeria, and say, but you have this military in eastern part of Nigeria, roadblocks, hundreds of roadblocks. How did these terrorists, these kidnappers, how are they able to kind of like move on and pass and undetected? How? A lot of people have told us that they work hand in hand as well with these terrorists. I mean, what else would you say? How can you describe a place that is the most militarized place in the entire Nigeria? The northern Nigeria, where we have all these hundreds of thousands of terrorists, different group of terrorists in northern Nigeria, you would never see the amount, you will never even see the 1/3 of the security roadblocks that you have in the eastern part of Nigeria. You will never see 1/3 of that in the northern part of Nigeria, if you ever see any at all. So what is their essence? Extorting people. And as a young man, listen, if you're watching me from Nigeria as a young man, Nigerian police, they are not your friend, though. You get? Police is not your friend, though. In Port Harcourt, right? If you are kind of wondering, how are the terrorists able to escape all these security guys with guns? Because this is what they are busy doing. Something like this.
If this by entire estate, nobody go hold on. I swear.
I don't even know me. If not me, you see that go. Used to wait. We know because we don't have. Hey, please hide your dad.
I will not the boy, sir.
I know the boy. First of all, your face appearance. The problem with all these boys, man, the way that they dress.
You're not supposed to enter his motor without his sponsor.
Open gate for them. It's very open. Not be you that they talk to.
Oga, he's not talking to you. Oga, he's not talking to you.
No be stop and start. But then, behind the problem, I have the problem. Move them.
Abati.
And Nigeria is a place where stereotyping people is very common. Just don't be a victim. Okay? When I saw that video, in fact, when I shared that video on Mayegun's Diary Politico, the criminal policemen, they have their own supporters too. For example, you see comments like, why don't you wait for the stop and search when they stopped you? Others were like, I mean, the police have the right to stop you. Look at the kind of car these young people are driving because they are Yahoo boys. It is Nigeria. So the security guys are profiling you is a Nigerian thing. If you drive a nice car or you dress nice, even your neighbors, they will report you. Yeah, they will call the police on you. But like, see, normally, if police receive reports and say, oh, we suspect you, it should be for prevention of crime, Abi. But in Nigeria, it's not for prevention of crime. It is how to extort you, even if you are not a criminal. Right? So many times, many times when I'm like in my car, driving, you know, I'm sometimes like, man, but if I was in Nigeria, God knows how many times, right, that the police would have stopped me. And it is not because they wanted to look for a crime or stop a crime. It is because, number one, they will be jealous and be like, how can you, this young man, be driving this kind of car? Then they'll be looking they'll be looking at how they are going to extort me. Sure, you get, you know, because if you convert the price of my car to Naira, I'm just using that now because this is something that kind of gives me a bit of a PTSD about that contraption. My car is a brand new car to start with. The value is put at 35,000 pounds. That's like 70 million Naira. Yeah, my Akana. So if I was driving that in Lagos, for example, there will be policemen that will automatically just feel like I am too young to be driving a 70 million Naira car. Out of jealousy, out of, I don't know, because he will compare his own life where he's being paid 50,000 Naira or 100,000 Naira and he can't even afford a used car. So how dare you, you must be a Yahoo boy. I must automatically be a Yahoo boy to be driving that kind of a car in Nigeria. So normally, if people now see me being harassed by policemen, they will automatically believe that I'm a Yahoo boy. You know, they say, you must be a Yahoo boy, Jare. He's a Yahoo boy. Which work are you doing? All of you, these boys, now so now you now be criminal. If you be, you see, this one is, they won't even say you feel be criminals. They will say you be criminal. That is one thing about that contraption. Because somebody of my age cannot walk, right, and earn enough to drive a nice car, except that, okay, well, maybe if I happen to be Mayegun in Nigeria too, maybe a few people will know me and say, he's a YouTuber, he's a, you know what I mean? Like, that may be my saving grace. But would I be saved from the profiling? No. Would the people that will be harassing me interested in stopping a crime that if I'm a criminal? No. They want to collect their own rubber. Give us something. I mean, which work are you doing? Show your particular. Where's your particular? Show me your document. Show, you know, and they'll be threatening you with gun. So I will have to put some money in my car so that when the police jump on my bonnet or jump into my car, I can say, officer, please take this 20,000 naira, please, I'm in a hurry. And then they will say, hey, even if I get dead, a dead man inside my boots, they're not interested. They're only interested in what do you have for us. If I do not give them anything, that is when you are going to see that similar scenario. In that contraption. She life me. No be life be this. Oh, are you calling being? This is not life. Oh, it is not life. So we'll leave it at that. In Maputo, Mozambique, 2 months ago in October, they had an election. Just like that of Nigeria, where you had your own charade. The ruling party, they had the power to manipulate the election, rig it, which they did. And people reacted, right? About they reacted, everywhere burst. Then they told the opposition to go to court, to go and prove their case. They went to court. So a few days back, their Supreme Court now ruled like Nigeria Supreme Court did, and validated the fraud. The ruling party continued despite the rigging. Man, for the past 5 days now, we have had a prison break. We have had police and the military going after protesters, shooting and killing them, execution style. Mozambique is also one of the poorest countries in Africa. But guess what? They are so blessed and so rich in liquid natural gas that they could have been one of the richest countries in the world. Their population is not massive. So it could have actually taken care of them. Their resources could have taken care of them. But the corruption, as well as the external influence, foreign influence over their resources, has now plunged this South African country into an everlasting bloodstream of violence, or stream of blood of violence. Let me show you some of it from Mozambique.
Get out. We don't need you again here. Mr. President, take your people and get out. We need our President Venancio because he will save our life, not you. You kill people. You steal people. You do everything bad. Get out.
Ya levaron.
Ai, meu Deus. Vocês, não tem polícia aqui. Bateria! Bateria mesmo! Cauã, você é mulher, não tem vergonha! Sua burra! Não tem vergonha, mulheres, mulheres.
essere partito. Eles estão a invadir, acham para aí pessoal, nós vamos entrar. Ei, venene! Volta com a caparona entrando na loja, volta com aqui. Vamos tirar coisas. Vamos ver,
Rigging elections, manipulating the people's will, and then using the courts to legitimize it always have consequences, except in Nigeria, where people's wish can be trampled upon without any consequences. What they did to them in Mozambique is so